in our journeys around corners of
Mhm.
Exandria, both with things that we are excited to see again and things we have never visited, or like the Netherdeep imagined, we are going to visit some locations that we have seen a little, or know some about and get a better look at for the first time. So Mackenzie, I know you worked on a ton of stuff on
Yes.
this book, but specifically you brought a lot to
Yes.
bear in one of the locations that we're going to be seeing. Yeah.
Yes. So I had the wonderful pleasure and honor of working alongside Matt and the cultural consultants over at CR in helping bring the city of Ank'Harel to life. The city of Ank'Harel first appeared in campaign one for a handful of episodes. And then now, when we started working on this book, with the knowledge that Marquet was going to be the setting of campaign three, we definitely wanted to make sure that wanted to flesh out Ank'Harel and also make it emblematic of its place on the continent. We sat down and were very thoughtful about wanting to make this city this cosmopolitan representation of all the different groups of people you could find across Marquette, um, as well as in some instances correct a couple of the missteps that had happened in when the city had first appeared in campaign one. Um, Talking with Matt, we wanted to be very careful about making sure the city felt cosmopolitan without monolithizing any cultures. And we also wanted to specifically approach the city from a decolonial angle, making sure that things that appeared in Ank'Harel came about not through force, not through imperialism, but through the voluntary and enthusiastic sharing of culture from across Exandria. And that was super fun for me to help facilitate. Specifically, in some instances, I actually got to put a lot of Filipino and Southeast Asian culture in the various different places you can find in Ank'Harel, as there are some aspects of Marquette that do draw from those elements. And it's so awesome to see myself to be the one to put elements of myself into the city, um, as someone in who got into D&D through Critical Role, and has always sort of enjoyed this world, getting to see myself reflected and getting to put NPCs that reflected myself into this amazing city, which is on my wall. Um, it was an absolutely wonderful experience, and I cannot wait for people to see that section of the book. That's also one of the unique sections of the book in that it is a little bit of it has some adventure parts, but it is also a gazetteer, very similar to like the Wildmount gazetteer that appears in Explorer's Guide to Wildmount, where even if you don't play any of the other adventure in the book, you can take that gazetteer, lift it right out of the book, and use it as a wholesale setting guide. We have
Yeah.
factions listed with leaders. We have key locations, but as well as those locations, we have plenty of room for you to add and create your own stories and locations and important people within the city in a way that feels natural for a city that size.
Mackenzie, I'm really happy
Yes.
about the not just the work you did in Ank'Harel, which of course
Mhm.
is incredible, but there's always a danger that when you get a POC designer to like express
Mhm.
their own culture in a fictional setting, that like
Mhm.
that person feels pigeonholed. It's like, "Oh, cool, I'm gonna make the Swana style area, and that's all I'm gonna do, and that's the only reason why I'm on this project." But that's why I'm so glad that, like, you were also so deeply involved in the origin of the Netherdeep and the creatures that live in there, because
Mhm.
your impact on this book was really very broad, and specific all at once. And,
Mhm.
I think that's just a wonderful thing that you
Yeah.
were able to do while working on this project.
It's it was very wonderful being, getting to express, and showcase, like or put NPCs that reflected myself into the book and showcase that, but also not just be relegated to, mm, being a point of representation, getting
Not
to
being
also work
tokenized.
on. Yep, and also just getting to, like, work on really terrifying monsters and getting to fiddle around in the depths of Bazzoxan, while also being like, "Hello, look at this wonderful smith that appears in Ank'Harel, who is a cannoneer and draws a lot of inspiration from the real life lantakas and rentakas of the Philippines and Malaysia. Getting to do
Mhm.
both is so fulfilling as a writer, and I am eternally grateful to you and to Matt for trusting me to get my hands all over this wonderful, wonderful book.